And welcome back to Capital. Today you are joining me on our FaceTime segment, Raj Arya, together with two very interesting guests, which we are going to talk about the world of exhibitions, not just in Malaysia, but around the world as well. With me today we have Mark Temple-Smith, the Regional Director of Asia for ITE Group PLC, as well as Dato' Albert Lai, Managing Director for Trade Link ITE Sdn Bhd. Gentlemen, thank you for being on the show this morning.
Good morning.
Now, before we start talking about exhibitions and of course the important role it plays in all the various industries, I'm sure our viewers are keen to find out a bit more about your personal story. So Mark, why don't we start with you?
Well, actually, when I left school, I have a theory that nobody intends to end up in the exhibition industry. And so when I left school, actually, I trained to be a metallurgist and studied to be a metallurgist.
Wow. Okay.
And actually, after 5 years of doing it, I found myself in the exhibition industry.
How ironic.
Absolutely. And so I spent 20 years in developing exhibitions all around the world, in Europe, in Africa, in the United States, and now finally I find myself in Asia. Relocating out here with my family last September. We're living in Singapore.
Right. And the interesting bit is from when you started, how was the industry like?
Well, I think I could characterize it by saying that the European companies such as the one that I worked for at the time, we were very focused on our home markets. And so while now we all find ourselves in far-flung parts of the world, in Asia and South America and so forth, at that time we were focused on running exhibitions in the UK, in Birmingham or in London.
Right. Okay, we'll come back to talk more about ITE Group very, very shortly. Dato' Albert, can you share us with your story now?
Oh, from my side. Okay, I started, working as as a sales and marketing, based on the selling those educational programs. Right. And later part, I joined the company from Hong Kong, which has an office in Kuala Lumpur. I start selling advertising space.
Right.
In the business directory. I've been down there for 5 years, traveling up and down throughout Southeast Asia, as well as until Middle East, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka. I was selling there for the past 5 years at the time. So later part, the time I already have my family, so I find very tired.
Of course.
Right, and then and then most of the time when I travel, it's 3 months before I come back at once. But the money is good, but I feel that life got to change for the better. So in fact, I resigned and stopped work for 6 months. And later I saw in the Malay Mail, there is vacancies for exhibition industry, which is
exhibition, huh?
Yeah. So it struck my mind and said, hey, something new. So and then this is also services, which all the while I am in the services line. So I began to say, okay, I will write in. And I called the company and got the first interview. I bargained with my boss, and I got the job.
Right. And what year was this?
It was in 1991.
Wow, more than 20 years ago. Huh?
Yeah.
Right.
So I started there. I started with the first show, woodworking show. That is the Wood Tech today. Okay. I was there for 15 months. After that, I decided that okay, I have learned something. So after 15 months, I started a company on my own. Right. And I got in a partners who is also specialized in exhibition from the competitor. So we teamed up together and started our company in 1993.
Now, at that point in time, the reason you started this company was because you saw the potential there?
Yes, definitely, because I feel that because I got to feel that I can do this trade.
Right.
Because I was very interested, and the things are very exciting because it enabled me to meet many people. So this is where you can broaden my horizon.
Yeah.
Okay. So I teamed up with my one partner from a competitor. I roped him in, and we started the first show called Wood Tech, which is until today.
Right.
And Wood Tech later part in 1995, I started the Metal Tech.
Right.
This is how later part in 2000. And 8, I started the Beautech.
Right. So slowly progression to other types of industries and sectors as well.
Yes. Of course, I do manage some shows like the Kuala Lumpur International Motor Show.
Klim, yeah.
In
That's
Klims
right.
in 2000 2003, we manage the show for them.
Right.
And we do organize the first Malaysian International Furniture Fair in 1995. We manage it for the association. Right. This is how it goes, and until today,
Yeah, the rest, as you say, is history. Eh?
Yeah, it's history. Yeah. So now I'm looking forward for the what they call advancement after the merger with ITE.
Yes, which we will come to very, very shortly. Now, speaking before we talk about the merger, ITE Group, it's been around for a fair bit of time.
Yeah, around about 25 years. It was started actually as an entrepreneurial business like Dato's company actually back in 1991 by two entrepreneurs that lived in the UK but took the business into Russia at the time of perestroika and
That's right.
the opening up of the Russian economy, and they were able to grow the business exponentially, and so the business actually listed on the London Stock Exchange in 1998. So we've been around for 24 years, and gradually since that time we've been advancing our business into other territories around the world, other countries and regions around the world.
Right, fantastic. And for you, you also see the potential there, starting off from obviously with the UK market and then branching out to the rest of the world. Now, you have seen over the last 20 years, the experience which you have garnered, how has the evolution been like for this particular area, exhibitions?
Well, exhibitions, I think broadly what you've seen and the big thrust over the last maybe 15 or 20 years is something that in the exhibition industry is called geo-adaptation, and it's something to do with the exhibition organizers from the West or the United States who perhaps have developed big exhibition brands that are well known over the last 40 or 50 years perhaps, who've brought those brands out to places like Asia. And formed exhibitions out here that essentially they're the same profile as the exhibitions that take place in the West, but they perform a function specifically for Asian visitors, for instance.
Right, for example, just tweaking it to suit the different regions, local communities and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Now, we all think of exhibitions as something that, for the public, generally speaking, the public will come, bring your family, bring your kids, just to see the visual aspects of it, to participate. But we have also seen that now the importance of trade exhibitions, right? That's something very crucial because that's more focused to B2B, for example. So, Dato, can you just share with us the importance of having trade events for business and for deals to be done?
Yeah. Okay. You see, nowadays, in this competitive market, many manufacturers do not have so much time to waste. Right, rather than going around shopping with shopping for products in an exhibition where it's so general.
That's right.
Right. So it comes to a time that in the 20 years ago we began to specialize. So that's how before that woodworking show, metalworking show, plastic machinery show are all in together. Right. So 20 years ago I started to specialize it and make it into a specialized metalworking show like Metal Tech.
Right.
Woodworking show in the wood tech. So you see, the aspect of what you call specializing the show is to, number one is to for the manufacturers to be what they call easier and focused, right, in order to source their technology and innovation all under one roof. This is what a specialized show is for.
Right, I guess that's very important, specialization, so that people know when they come here, they know what they're looking for, and that's where you meet the right people, make the right contacts, which is very crucial in this day and time because you're trying to save time, you're trying to save costs,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
And a trade show is also what you call a very good platform for the sellers, for the sellers to what you call to exchange ideas,
of course,
and what you call to promote their technology to the local manufacturers, and at the same time for the visitors to learn more.
Right.
And in view of to upgrade their manufacturing facilities.
Right. Mark, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would add that I think that if you take the sector of MICE, meetings, incentives,
That's
conferences and exhibitions is perhaps the one with the longer lasting benefit, where we're, as Dato Albert said, he's organising exhibitions for essentially trade exhibitors. And so As a result of that, you have exhibitors coming from all over the world who may be coming to Malaysia for the first time, meeting a distributor, meeting an importer, setting up a local subsidiary, investing in the region. So there's a far wider reaching benefit from trade exhibitions than just bringing in visitors and exhibitors for 1 week.
That's right. Because it's going to be long term. In fact, the spin-off, and of course the building of the relationship, and the great thing is it's like a one-stop center where all the relevant parties, stakeholders, will come together, and this is where you can really make things happen, right?
Yes. This is the point that that the specialized show is all about. Through our through our records, and then through our marketing and promotion program that we have sent the direct mailing to all the targeted visitors, right? So they know what we have in the show before they come.
Right.
This is where that when the visitor comes, they know where to go.
Right.
Because our show is huge. We have into 6 halls, so they must know. And then each hall we have separate profiles. This is where this make things easier for them, and they come back year after year, as I have seen.
That's right. Very, very loyal exhibitors. I'm sure some of them have been with for 20 years, in fact.
Yeah, I should say at least 30 to 40% is 15 to 20 years.
Wow.
At least when we talk about 10 years, I can say it's 70 to 80% repeat customer.
So it does show that this kind of platform is very powerful, which they can see the benefit in terms of course, generating revenue, making the right contacts, and of course, expanding their business, right?
Yes.
It's expanding their business, accelerating their business. That's what we're all about. We really exist as a means to bring businesses together.
Right. Now, speaking about coming together, I'm very curious to find out about the courting process between TradeLink and ITE and how this marriage was consummated. How did it all start? Yes.
Well, we were very keen to bring our business to Southeast Asia. I mean, ITE actually is a specialist in fast-growing economies. We don't actually run, or we run very few exhibitions, I should say, in our home market of the UK these days. We tend to specialize in exhibitions where the economies are being driven either by increasing investment in infrastructure, or a growing middle class, or a transformational economy, I might say. And we were very attracted to Malaysia because, of course, it's transforming from being a largely commodities-based economy into becoming an advanced manufacturing economy. And that seemed to be a very good place to be. So that's how we met Dato Albert back in 2012 now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, we have a discussion for about a year.
Right.
To me, I look at it that way, business point of view.
Of course.
Right. ITE PLC is a big organizers in Europe.
That's right.
Okay, this is what one point that I always bear in my mind, which in later part they will be able to help me.
Of course.
This want to expand
Win-win
my
situation,
business.
right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is that I think between us, we form a very strategic alliance, because the couple of shows that they do in Europe synergize with my show here, as well as my program for expansions into Southeast Asia country. Right. So this is the main point that it really triggered me to start talking to them, and we finalize the deal. And of course, with them together, we get a greater opportunity to business expansion, and then we can able to learn more.
That's right.
This is the main point that our marriage came about.
That's right. And each of you can bring something unique and something special to the table, and when you put it together, that's where you can really go places, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those relationships where 2 + 2 should equal 5.
Yes. The one where conventional maths don't quite work, but for the better, in fact. Now, based on the criteria which you mentioned just now, it's quite clear that Asia is the place to be with the growing population, as you mentioned, middle class, propensity to consume, to spend, and that's where the action has shifted right from the West to Asia. Would that be a fair comment to make?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've, I suppose, been looking at Asia since 2012. We started our business, and I joined ITE actually to try and develop a business out here. But even then, we're very, very late to the table. Some of our nearest rivals or competitors, if you like, have been in the region for 15 or 20 years. So yes, absolutely, the dynamics out here in Asia make it a very exciting market for the exhibition industry.
Right. Now, given that you are 15 to 20 years behind, and we all know that the first mover advantage always has the upper hand. How is ITE Group trying to catch up or breach that big gap that's currently in place?
Well, we've taken a very different view, and I suppose the broad approach that we may have taken, which is different to our rivals, is our rivals are more about the acquisitions element of mergers and acquisitions. And for us, we almost view ourselves in this part of the world as a strategic investor. So rather than coming into the region and acquiring businesses and, let's say, moving all the assets and moving the staff into our own offices and becoming wholly owned entities, what we're trying to do is to partner with not only strong local exhibitions, but strong local management teams that we can add value to. So, for instance, the value that we could add may be via our international sales group to bring more international visitors or more international exhibitors, or via helping to strengthen management teams to bring in better processes, better efficient back office functions and so forth. So we really view ourselves as, I suppose, an investor that can add value and help the existing business grow.
Right, makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, hold that thought for a moment, Mark, Dr. Albert, because we have to take a commercial break right now. But fear not, we'll be back in the following segment where we're going to continue the second part of this interview, where we're going to focus on the upcoming Metal Tech exhibition. So stay tuned.